Hello, my friends. Hello, everybody. We have the Yellowjackets season 3, episode 5, and we have the new movie, or just it's new for me because I didn't see when it came first time. It came in 2024, and after it came out, it's been like probably a few months or something. So it's not like something recent, but it's definitely the most interesting movie I wanted to share because I didn't really have anything to prepare this stream in a way I wanted. So let's say this is like the mix of two different projects, and the first one, of course, we already have talked about. Yellowjackets is like the story of survival in harsh reality, let's say the wilderness, and a group of teenagers, they just trapped in the middle of nowhere, so they are trying to survive and struggling with their differences, and they trying to do whatever it takes to stay alive. And the last episode shown pretty good moments with that mysterious identity that is still unknown, and it's becoming more clear how it works because last time I watched this TV show, I didn't have any clue of how this spirits or something work in this TV show, and I probably still don't, but I have some hints. At least we have one crucial moment to this explanation, like how it works, we also have in episode 5 the moment where Thaisa and her girlfriend, at that point, they were trying to put Thaisa in that mood when she sleepwalking, but they wanted to make it work, and they wanted to make it work for purpose, like they were forced to get rid of Coach Scout because he was hiding for a little bit, for quite long, let's say, because he was hiding in the in that forest from everyone, and after they found him, they were forced to kill him because this is how everything works. If you are not the part of this community, let's say this wilderness community of this woman, you either gonna get killed or expelled, but he did already expel himself, so there is no way he could get any punishment but getting killed. And of course, after everything we saw so far, we know that they capable of doing whatever it takes to you know, to bring someone to justice, or to actually just punish someone in the most wild way. We know how they did that in previous seasons, and we know what they can do now, because there is nothing to lose. There is nothing left, let's say, to worry about. But something really happened in this cave when one of that woman got vision, like seizure, something like he saw Coach Scott laying between different parts of this wilderness. Like, one part is where all the wilderness forest, the huge part, the most of where they trying to survive, the place where they actually living right now. And the other part is like the escape, the exit of that wilderness. So they wanted to find that exit, and they want to find like the way out of there. And the Scott, the coach Scott, is definitely somehow connecting them, and he is kind of bridge. He is a bridge to that reality they used to live in, the normal life they got before they went missing in this wilderness. So this Caesar answering a little bit, but not a lot, because we still don't know how or what that mysterious identity is, and we still don't know if it's even existing, or if it was made up in their minds, like how it works. Still unknown. But it's becoming more clear little by little. We're gonna know everything probably in this season. Everything is gonna be explained. So we can see that they got a lot of food, like fish. I don't know why they do that so late, because they did already kill a lot of teammates. They did already eat them. They got rid of a lot of members of this Yellowjacket community. And at this late point, they have a lot of different species, like fish, and we can see some wild animals, but it doesn't seem like they care anymore. The only reason why they wanted to kill Coach Scott, because of the justice, bring him to justice, and let's say they wanted to set a trial for him, but without proper knowledge of how it should work. So let's say it's like proclaimed trial in the middle of nowhere, and of course self-proclaimed jury, and nobody actually knows how it should be set in normal life. Of course, they do not know how to conduct such a trial in the middle of nowhere. And the only reason they do that to make it seem like it's less brutal to kill him. But they didn't actually kill him in this episode, but I still think that they gonna do that later, or like in a few episodes probably. Some members of this Yellowjacket season 3 are gonna be killed, or something gonna happen to them. But we still have this couple, which is pretty also a secret for me, because I don't know what actually bounds him, because the bond they have is like, it seems more like sympathy, and the brutal side of Shauna appeals to this Melissa, and Melissa is pretty like unknown, strange character for me. I don't know exactly even how they started to be together, or if they are together, or what actually just they have in common. It's still pretty unknown. I don't know exactly what they gonna do, but they seem pretty interesting in the long term. I have to know what they have for next few episodes. So while we're waiting for new episodes, there is still something to explore in this universe of Yellowjackets. But let's move on to the movie, and the movie it's called In the Summers. So this movie is just, for me, it's like blessing in disguise, because first time I found it, I thought it's just something, just another movie with some regular plot with no specialties, but it's something really good, because I realized how much this movie brings to the table. It's actually where two sisters in the split family, so let's say a split family, where two parents, they both have rights to be with their children, but they do not live together. So this is a split family where the agreement works equally, or specifically for father, it works like he could get his children every summer break, and all other time it's their mother, and she get them. But the summer break is where they come to their father's house, and they in this house actually they spend all their childhood. And it seems like this movie focuses a lot on how the way your parents raised you, how they were living together, if they are still living together, how it impacting your future, how it really influences everything. And two sisters, Yeva and oh my god, Yeva and Violeta, and their father Vicente. So they are at their first summer break in this movie. At least they could have got those before, but in this movie, this is the first stage. When they came there, it's like New Mexico or something. So this is where he lives. And at first it seems like it's just nothing special, like, they're just spending some time together. They seem pretty happy, but something starts at this point when one of those sisters, she wants to, like, stand out. She cutting her hair, and at this point a lot of fights, a lot of arguments starting to happen between father and this sister. And the first time they went there, when they were already like 11 or 12 years old, and of course another actress play these sisters because they seem different. They got older, and we can see how this cold welcome, like cold greeting from one sister and this warm welcome from another sister just explain how different they feel about their father. It's not only because in a split family, you probably most of the time you don't understand why your parents separate. Why the hell, like, you have to suffer from their breaking up, why you have to experience this in the first place. So, and then you questioning yourself, like, what's wrong with me in the first place? Why I deserve something like to experience and to be treated differently, because when your parents together, they more like communicating in the, like, in everything they communicate, and for you it's basically working better because they know and they discuss everything. So there is no as much arguments as in split families because for example, after she cut her hairs off, her mother immediately just went off on her ex-husband, because she didn't understand how he could let her do it, like how he could let her tell 10 years old daughter to cut her hair, like, and such a little thing could cause huge argument. But this was just the first argument between Violetta and her father. But why I'm so focusing on this, because it's so important and it's impacting the whole story. Of course, this is so relevant in real life, because we know how exactly it works in real life, in split families, in after divorce, all that shit. And this movie actually answering a lot of questions if you looking for them. So, and the other argument, and it's probably like it was almost a fight, because after their father got wasted, Violetta told him that, like, you're so drunk, let someone else just take us home, because you're not capable right now. You're just so wasted. And of course, he gets angry and he went off on Violetta. And this is another second argument that sets future conditions for their relationship, because in this, early stages of your life, everything would dictate how your relationship with your parents work in the future, because this is vital. This is the most important, probably, period when everything setting those relationships and the way they're gonna work. So after that night, they just got up and they went to some place just to refresh a little bit and get some rest or something, like, just they went hiking. And I want to say that this father, Vicente, he's basically not a bad guy in this movie. He's not like abusing his power or something. He is, of course, the most masculine member of this movie, and probably the most cliche father in split up family you could have imagined. It's like he's drinking a lot, he's just arguing with his ex-wife, which is their mother, and he trying to be still good with his children, because he never actually did anything wrong in this movie. But even if you don't do anything wrong, it's still it doesn't mean that your children like it, the way you act, the way you treat them. It's always not enough, because you could be a perfect parent in your mind, but for them you could have been still better if you tried, So Violetta struggles with probably her father not trying enough to be his best version. He actually could have been more concentrated on different things, like, not trying to drive drunk, not trying to argue unnecessarily. And of course, some bad habits, they just took on some bad habits from their father, because to take on any bad habit, it takes it's actually easy to take on a bad habit from your parent, because every day you wake up and see them doing like smoking, drinking, or some shit, like, every night you can see them drinking, and you can easily start thinking that it's just normal behavior for them. So why it's not for me? So why cannot I do that? If they do that so easily, probably it's just normal for anyone. But Violetta is more skeptic when it comes to her father. Of course, she tries to be kind, but she's still so, withdrawn into herself, because he's trying to be herself. This is the most important part of this movie, because Violetta is becoming queer, and she's becoming queer because of her father, because of how much she hates him. Let's say this is just impacting her whole image, her whole life. And she cut her hair because of him, because of probably she hates how feminine, beautiful women can be easily treated like the most wanted woman. But she wants to be herself, and she wants to be like this, So she sees that her father is so she's basically so dominant, and he is dominant, and he's trying to control his children. And this is alright, nothing wrong with controlling, but when you're trying to control the way your children feel, like how they see themselves, how they wanna, what they wanna look like, if you try and control that, something is gonna be wrong with you, because they gonna hate you, they gonna argue a lot. So, and they will find your masculinity, your dominance, your they will find your dominant behavior, the reason why they want to act like this, why they want change themselves. And in this movie, the only person who changed a lot, it's of course this Violetta, one of the sisters, and she found even another teenager who has the same values, and who probably understands her, and they both kind of, they just have more in common than she has with her father. This is it. And there was some moment when he was trying to force, first time I was thinking that it's just normal, in any party, one of your family members trying to, like, get you dancing, like, come on, stand up, like, why you're sitting, why a long face, just everybody dances and you dance, like, but you don't want it, you don't want to dance. And I think it happens to everybody, especially in childhood, like when somebody tries to force you to do something you don't want to. And of course it irritates a lot, and especially when she already hates him a lot because of his dominant behavior again. And this kind of forcing makes it even worse. And that was the crucial and the probably turning point in this movie, because after this, next summer break, Violetta didn't come to this house anymore, and she preferred to stay away from this place. And the most crucial moment happened after this party, because they got into an accident, and the accident happened because of careless driving from father. He got distracted by something, and something was crossing the road, like animal, something was there, and they got into accident. So of course all the blame should be put on the father because he was driving. This is not even questionable. He's the one to blame. But should it be like hate to, to keep forever and to remember it as your father's mistake, and you know, to claim, to label him as a like monster. I don't think so, because a lot of different accidents happen in real life, and someone also always someone should be blamed for it, but also there should be forgiveness, some type of forgiveness. I don't know how you can keep it through your life forever, but it seems like Violetta took that seriously, because she didn't actually come next summer break, and it was like crucial for her sister, because she didn't feel anymore like she wanted in this house. She feels so alone, and nobody actually pays attention, because her father just got a new wife, and they already have a baby, so they do not care a lot that she is there. And she starts thinking that something really changed, and she's not loved anymore the way she was before, that they love another children now more than her, and it ruins the probably expectations, like your summer break is gonna be hell because of it. So, and a lot of like, just this silence, even when they do not talk a lot, your face just speaks volumes, because we can see how the emotions on her face just speak even more than words could have, and I wanted to say that the acting of this 10 years old Yeva is perfect, because the facial emotions, like any actor practicing a lot to express, to show something without a lot of words, or with no words, of course, it's a lot of practicing. But when you are 10 or 11 years old, it's way more difficult, because you are not such an experienced actor or something, like you didn't go through a lot in your life, to understand that emotions and to express them properly. But she actually pulled it off amazingly, and that was just your version of expressing those but she did it perfectly. And of course, she felt so lonely, and she went to the place they used to go to, and this place like uh it's just a common place where people trying to uh drink some alcohol, just play pool, uh getting wasted, dance, some shit like a common bar, let's say. And they used to go there, there together. But this time, her father didn't really come here. He did come, but he didn't stay long. Uh, they played some pool, and after this, uh, you know, this phase is just speaking volumes. So after that summer break, we have the last summer break they have in this movie. And this summer break happens after like probably 5-6 years. And we can see Violetta and Eva, they are already young adults. And instead of their father's house, they are moving in some hotel or something like, just rental house or something like. They trying to stay away from him from the very beginning, from the moment they got there. They already staying away, but they still gonna visit him, because everything happened in this movie never supposed to mean that if you experience something similar, you can justify your hate, or you can justify the way you feel about your parents. Like, if they did some mistakes, if they failed, if they raised you the way you didn't want to be raised, this movie doesn't seem like it's justifying all the hate you could have had. It's more like this movie is more specifically targeting the audience that is never got into this situation, and to make them understand that there are more different situations, more difficult situations you could have been in. And if you never got into that situation, you should be happy for your life as it is. So don't make mistakes, but learn from mistakes of others. Let's say this is how this movie narrates. This is what this movie is trying to say. Like, the expressions of this actress, again, this is another actress playing Eva in 15, 16 probably years old. And 16 is the age when you already established your when you already established your dreams, when you already know how exactly you want to move forward. You don't know exactly what it's gonna be with your life, what you're gonna do in the long term, but you know exactly how you're gonna move. Because everything was set in your early years. Like in this movie, it was the first stage of this movie when they were so young. And now we have the same expressions, for example, on this Eva's face. And it seems like she's still blaming her father, that when she came on the summer break alone without her sister, he didn't do anything to keep her happy, and he didn't do anything to make her comfortable. When she was alone without her sister, he could have paid more attention, and he could have treated her better. At least he could have tried, and you know, he could have forced it. So I'm like 100% sure that she's still blaming him for that shit. This is what her face says. And of course, the other sister, Violetta, she doesn't seem upset because she missed that summer and she skipped it. Basically, she skipped it intentionally after that accident, after everything she went through with her father. She decided not to visit him last summer, or not last summer, but last time we saw Yeva visiting him. Violetta wasn't there. So she seemed pretty happy because she probably already put together everything, and she realized how she can handle this man and how she can do better without him, you know. But Yeva still seems to need her father around her, at least to feel the same way she felt when she was young. She was more happy than her sister, and every time they were together, the three of them, every time the most happy seemed Yeva, but now she's the most upset girl in this movie because of how just one summer break ruined everything. And this is basically how it works in real life. One summer can change everything. If you used to get treated the way you liked and consistently you did something every summer, for example, you came back to your hometown, you get something you used to get, you just do whatever you want to, and at some point you came back again, and never you used to get happened, never you used to do happened, and it's of course it's ruining your expectations, and you have no anymore expectations. You have no desire to come back, but you still feel like it's just your father. You have no other. There is no way you just can you know, you can hate, you can think whatever you want, but you can still visit, you can still talk to him, but you can keep some distance. And this is what they're trying to do, to keep the distance but still pay him some visits. And this visit was the again crucial point, because it shows everything we have seen before in this movie impacting these young adults a lot, and how they feel, for example, uncomfortable because of them being so grown, and the father is still around, joking, dancing, and acting like nothing really changed, like he's still treating them the same way he did, and he tried to apologize for everything, like probably the father in the first place understands that if it wasn't him, they could have spent just every summer break with their mother, and nothing really there was nothing really, not a lot of differences from summer break with your father or summer break with your mother, because after all, you just, you would have been raised slightly different person, because it's just 3 months every year or something like this. Not even every year, but those 3 months compared to 9 months with their mother is just nothing. It's just like, it's really nothing. And he thinks that it's nothing because he wants them being around more longer, and he wants them to spend more time with him than with their mother. Even she has more rights to dictate with whom they can spend time more or less. But he don't really understand that ultimately all those summer breaks together impacted the whole picture of father-child relationship for his children, and it actually created such a strong feeling that Violetta becomes who she is because of her father and his personality, because of his drinking habits, because of his outburst personality, because of how he easily go off, how he easily gets carried away, and how he still thinks that it's not a big deal, you know. It's not influencing a lot, but it is. And probably in this movie, what Violetta becomes is more important than what her sister does. Her sister basically becomes a common child in split family who took on all the bad habits from her parents, especially from her father, because she spends more time with him than her sister, and all of those habits prevail in her personality because of how much she spent time with the father. And less of those in her sister personality, because of she stayed away most of the time and she isolated herself, not physically but mentally. She isolated herself from him, and after the accident, after all shit happened, she's still visiting him, but she's still probably hating him, even though she's not trying to show it so obviously. And she met her first love, probably first queer love, and they hit it off, of course, again, because even though she has already a kid at home, 2 years old, she told that she didn't really wanted it, but she doesn't regret it, and that they can do still whatever they want, no matter what happened. So this scene just illustrates, it's showcasing a little bit of personality Violetta has. And this scar on her leg is from that accident. It originates in that car accident, and of course she probably has this car as a sign of it's like, you know, it's like a tattoo with the meaning of your parent fucked up, failed to look after you, you know. And this car probably just, every time someone touches it or looks at it, it brings those memories back, and she hates it a lot, like when somebody does it. But the other sister, Yeva, she's still effortlessly, she seem calm but more upset, I guess. And she doesn't feel anymore at home herself. She more like feel stranger yourself than at home, And after this summer break, they of course never met. At least in this movie, they never did that because it's just the ending. And most of the time, there is not like you trying to understand something by listening to it. It's more like the context and the narrative is more like the visual part of this movie, not what they're saying, but what they're doing is more probably important, I'd say. So this is the movie where you actually, most of the time, you just watch instead of listening. And this is the movie when everything you see is saying even more than any words could have. And in this movie specifically, you can find yourself questioning your life and taking everything personally because you probably experienced something similar. And this is the movie where every viewer can actually find himself in a familiar situation, like something really real, something really good about this movie. So let's say it's not completely a queer movie, or it's not even focused on lesbian relationship. After all, it's more about relationship between parents and children and how it impacting your life in the long term, how it setting your relationship in the future. And of course your preferences it's directly originates your preference specifically in relationship, whether you want to be with a woman or with a man. It originates in your relationship with your father and your mother, but I guess more with your father. And what your relationship with your father was is exactly the same what is gonna be your relationship with your partner, no matter if it's gonna be a woman or it's gonna be a man. It's gonna be the same, but you can make it better, but you can change it, of course. But at some point you will see that it's fucking what your relationship with your father was, if you ever had one. So thank you for watching. I think this movie is gonna stay on my list of favorite movies from 2024 because there were not a lot like this, and this is just a brilliant, for me, I guess it's just a perfect therapy in the first place. and the perfect time spending, 2 hours of pure therapy for me. And I guess you're gonna like it if you're gonna watch it. Thank you. Goodbye. See you next time. Goodbye.